Welcome back to the current. Let's join the rhythm of our body, coming into our breath. You can sit or you can stand. And we're going to cross. If you're sitting, cross. If you're standing, good morning. Cross the right leg over the left. And take your right hand underneath your left armpit and your left hand on top of your right shoulder. And turn your head to the left and your body to the right. And we're going to breathe in through the nose for 3 breaths and out. In and out. 3 in and out. And through your mouth for 3 in and out. In and out. In and out. Beautiful. Come back to center. The physiology for this key that we're in is highlighting, I didn't know this body part, is the urogenital diaphragm. So basically it's a fascia in our pelvic region at our root. So we're going to place, actually before we do that, let's rub the hands together and just generate some electrical awareness in our hands and rub the fingernails together. And place one hand over your low belly and the other hand we're going to place right at our root. Right at the bottom of our pelvis, the perineum. And just connect to your breath. Maybe noticing your exhalations, creating a little more softness. Noticing on your inhalation, your whole pelvic floor pressing into your hands softly, not forcing anything, just witnessing. And as you exhale, maybe you can gently feel the pelvis lift. Inhale. Exhale. Imagining that pelvic floor descending on the inhale. And just gently recoiling on the exhale. And you're not trying to do this. It's just a very, very subtle noticing. And if you aren't noticing anything, that's okay. Just maybe get in touch with a little bit of a softening. And you can keep your hands there or you can place them on your knees. But we're going to slowly do some pelvic circles. It's just letting the pelvis create that action in the rest of your body, but starting there. And then we're going to move up the spine, just starting with the pelvis, rocking back and forth, creating some waves. They can be very, very gentle. Just whatever your body is intuitively doing. Feel the rootedness of your pelvis, your legs if you're sitting, your feet if you're standing, softly bending the knees if you're standing. And just create little waves with your spine starting from the pelvis. Let that be the foundational starting place. And just whispering root to rise. Root to rise. Feeling your connection with the earth. Feeling that support. And then just closing the eyes, you can keep moving your spine if that feels good, and just internally ask yourself the question, what wants to emerge? Not from force, but because I've created the conditions for something to rise. What wants to begin? Not from force, not from fear. And if you don't hear anything, that's okay. But that can be our contemplation for the next 6 days as we move in rhythm with the sun through the transit of Gene Key 53, through the lens of 53. This one has been known for new beginnings. I was just briefly watching my contemplation that I did a couple years ago on this one. And I spoke to this, we often think that January is when we have to have our new beginnings, January 1st. But the rhythm is such that this time period is a time for new beginnings. So something to contemplate. This archetypal energy moves from the shadow of immaturity through to the gift of expansion, and the city is superabundance. So just to quickly touch on these points, we can have these in our awareness as we're moving through the next couple of days with the rhythm of the sun. This immaturity speaks to our deep conditioning that life is lived from outside in, and that we're victims of our reality. And so we try to make things happen, and we force ourselves to make things happen, to make change out there in the world, to make ourselves feel better inside, when actually it's 100% the flip, reversal. That we create our reality from inside. And that's the maturity that happens through life experience, that happens through some kind of instance in our life that awakens us to that reality, which can be really challenging and difficult. And I use the video of The Matrix when Neo goes into that white room with Morpheus and realizes that the world was a mental construct. And that's what many of us are awakening to, that the world is a mental construct, and it starts within our body. And we are very powerful beings. And in the immaturity level, a lot of times what happens is we start something from a place of fear. And Richard Rudd in his book uses an example of the arrow. It's like loading a bent arrow head in your bow and expecting that arrow to hit the target of what you wanted, except for the very tip is bent. And that's the similarity to having some kind of fear or forcing ourselves to do something because we're trying to change the external first versus realizing it happens in the internal, that we just keep firing those bent arrows. So at the higher frequency of expansion, this expansion isn't about just pushing ourselves to grow. It's about expanding from a rooted place of love, of harmony, and of creativity. And from that space, we come to a simplicity of expansion that is expanding at a rate that our bodies can accommodate, and that is in harmony with the world and with nature. And the highest expression of this one is superabundance. And you can think of like, okay, isn't abundant enough? Like, why the super? But the super speaks to this kind of going above and beyond. Like, at that level, you're above even needing to talk about abundance, because you just know that the world is abundant. Nature, your true nature, is abundant. And so you're not even thinking about it. It's not even in your mind. But at the shadow level, especially with our conditioning of achieving material success and thinking that that's going to fulfill us, we get caught in needing to chase that abundance. So I'd love to hear your thoughts as we wrap up the current today. Thank you for being here. Are you feeling some kind of new beginning? Do you feel that energy? If so, let me know. I'm definitely feeling it. I'm having so much clarity about the power of connecting into a time and a rhythm and inviting community, and that's really alive for me. So I'd love for you to share anything that feels alive for you, and I look forward to seeing you in the current tomorrow. Lots of love.